Bottled water is the most popular non-alcoholic beverage in the United States. Americans spent $31 billion in 2018 alone on bottled water. However, 64% of bottled water is just filtered tap water. Stick around in this video and find out if you should be drinking bottled water, and if so, what kind's going to be the best to drink. Hi, I'm Dr. Shauna, and welcome back to another video. As far as bottled water goes, there's about 4 different types of bottled water that I want to talk about. We have distilled water, purified water, spring water, and alkaline water. Let's start with distilled water. So distilled water has been steam distilled, and it actually has a pH of 7, which is neutral. So distilled water is not going to be a good option for us to drink on a regular basis because that neutral pH can actually leach the minerals from us. Now, we talk about spring water. Spring water is probably one of my favorite bottled waters, and it comes from natural springs, just depending on the source. Here's one that is an Icelandic spring water, and so it comes from Iceland, and it's imported. As far as bottled water goes, purified bottled water, those are going to be different things that they're actually just purified tap water. So how you know where the source of your bottled water comes from is you look on the label, just like with everything else. So if you look at this label here of Sam's Choice bottled water, it's a purified water, you can see it actually has a municipality tap water that the source of the water was coming from. They then will filter that water, and then that's where we get purified bottled water. So to me, it really isn't worth buying that purified bottled water because A, you're spending more money than what you would get just from simply filtering out your own tap water at your house. So if we talk about as far as alkaline water is actually going to be good for you. So remember what I said with distilled water. Distilled water is a neutral pH of 7. So anything over 7.2, 7.4, some go as high as 8.8. Definitely you don't want to go any higher than like 9.6, but those are all going to be alkaline waters. However, if you're going to get and drink alkaline water, you want to make sure that alkalinity is actually from a natural source. So they're not artificially alkalizing the water, which can happen with certain alkalized waters, or if you alkalize water at home yourself. So the reason why the alkaline water, the natural alkaline water, is good is because it's coming from natural sources, and it comes from the process of that water coming down, whether through the mountains and through the streams and filtering down and coming from what's called a natural aquifer. That's where all those spring waters are going to come from, and some of them are going to have higher alkalinity. So if you look back again at this Icelandic spring water, it actually says it's naturally alkalized. And you can see right here, and it's 8.88 is the pH of it. So this is going to be a very good alkaline water, and it's naturally alkalized. If we then go further and read on the label, it's going to tell you where it's coming from. So it's coming from a self-replenishing source. It says nothing has added or taken out, and it has a naturally high pH of 8.88. So the spring water is going to be great. It's going to help replenish lost minerals and different nutrients that we may not be getting in our diet, and the spring water is going to be good for you. If you've ever heard of Dr. Sebi, he is kind of a naturalist type of doctor. He has this healing way of eating that he learned because he himself was sick. He recommends drinking only spring water as far as the United States goes because we don't have any other kind of other pure waters to drink that maybe some other areas might. So the spring water is going to be good. A couple things you have to be careful with when you're purchasing bottled water and making sure that you are getting indeed spring water and not purified water is really looking close at the label. Sometimes that's not as easy as you think. Now, this spring water is clearly labeled spring water, so it's not a problem. But there are some other waters that I initially thought were spring water, such as Smart Water or Life Water, that actually aren't. So I purchased a bottle of Life Water today just to kind of prove and show what's going on. So in the Life Water, it is saying that it is a purified water, purified by reverse osmosis, and then they have magnesium sulfate and potassium bicarbonate added, which they say it's going to pH balance electrolytes for taste. So it's taste only. Now, again, these are not naturally added in the water, so they're not really going to be the best way that we get it. Now, I do give Life Water some credit. They use recycled materials to make their plastic bottles. They support artists, and they look really pretty. But as far as really getting good water to hydrate your body the best that you can, this is unfortunately not going to be your best option. And the other problem that I have with bottled water would be price. So if you think of price, it can get pretty pricey. You're buying all this bottled water and you're thinking, oh, spring water is kind of expensive. This Icelandic is 2 for $4 at the gas station I got it at. However, the purified water was almost just as much. The Life Water was 2 for $3. So if you have to choose between this one or that one, spend the extra 50 cents a bottle and get the spring water because it really is going to improve your health benefits. So the last drawback about bottled water, and the biggest problem that I really have with it, is going to be the packaging itself. So the plastic water bottles. I mean, they do sell spring water in glass bottles. It is very expensive, so most people are going to buy plastic. And out of all the bottled water that is purchased, only 1 in 5 of those bottles are actually recycled, which then ends up being 3 billion pounds of waste of unrecycled plastic bottles that are filling our landfills every single year. And if you are like a lot of other people, and like myself, you are concerned a little bit with the environment and the amount of plastics that we have. I mean, it's polluting our oceans, it's damaging our sea life. There are so many different things that the bottled water and all these excess plastic bottles are creating that I feel like each one of us could take one little step to improve it. First one would obviously be, if you're drinking plastic water bottles, recycle them. So make sure you're getting them to a recycling center. Now, there are a lot of places that it's really hard to find recycling centers. I have to say, though we've tried to push recycling through my lifetime, I really feel like the United States doesn't do quite as good of a job as we should be about making it really easy and accessible to recycle the bottles. And I feel like that's probably why most people are not recycling their plastic bottles. So the next option that I now have is going to be, well, what do I drink instead of bottled water? Well, truly, the next best option is going to be just filtering your water at home yourself. Now, it's not going to be spring water, and obviously spring water is good. However, if you're worried about cost and polluting the environment, an under the sink water filter is probably going to be the most economical solution that you can use to filter water at your house. Now, I don't want to go too in depth in these filtering systems because I want you to stay tuned, because there will definitely be another video where I can dig deep into our 3 different options of filtering. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. It helped you determine and understand why spring water is going to be the best type of bottled water for you to drink if you're going to drink bottled water at all. And I hope it encourages you to, if you're drinking the plastic bottled water, that you are going to recycle the bottles. As always, please make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Put any comments or questions or concerns in the comment section below. Any ideas that you have to recycle the bottles that you're using, I would love to hear about. And make sure you hit subscribe and the bell to be notified every time I upload a new video so you don't miss a thing. And as always, remember, healing starts from within.